I have something to say about myself deceased. I am homeless in the threatening that I may be here for another month. I don't have anyone who will pay the rent whenever I say that it's due. I don't have anyone who will let me be the landlord and I receive the rent and you move around. Myself has the money, and what are you going to do without it? And I don't know anybody who would call 911 and have themselves arrested and put in jail and prison for that. I don't agree with them. They want to put me in jail and prison because they don't agree with me, that I don't agree with them. Well, that is trying to put God in jail and prison because he made more than one person and alive. I am myself deceased, and I have no more home in the threatening. I would like to say that I don't know myself deceased anymore, but I do. It's not due to be deceased in public anymore. Deceasement moved ahead of my by that Mitch a cell phone to someone was bringing me food to the parking lot area apartment complex. That somebody did come to agree with something that I asked. It's not true that I agree with everything I needed for that. And they are charging me I don't know what because she did give me the food. It was a black female adultery, and I don't remember if I've seen her before. And she was driving or was opening the car door of a Kia Soul, but I didn't have my glasses on. I was outside without these on my face. And so I'm telling you like a description of what I saw, which was a light green colored Kia Soul looking car. And it was like sea green, do I say that? Or like pastel? If there's such a thing as pastel green, I think that's what it was. And she doesn't really know what to tell me about what I need for myself after today. She didn't offer me any of her personal information so that I could contact her if I need anything else. Well, if she's doing a delivery for Smith's, which is what I think, the Smiths will charge for every item, but she wasn't wearing a Smith's uniform that I know of, but I was, again, not wearing my prescription eyeglasses or contact lenses with prescription. That is expired. I don't wear those anymore. And it's true, I don't know how to be here if you don't offer me something because I am myself. I elsewhere was a youth growing my height, and when it was of the essence that people worked out their problems, they just came to my house and they ate in front of me, and then they left. And they left me as though they had just been there because I called them and asked them for something to eat. They ate in front of me and they left. That's me having done that to them in their house, and I don't drive. I have too much leverage like that against myself that's deceased already. I don't even want to complain because I die very well for myself. To myself is due to be known by me. It's due that I think about that. I was eating the chicken pot pie for dinner, and I was gritting my teeth in anger a little bit over thoughts about sexual abuse that are expired, and that's because somebody checked my address again, and I can see all the thought is being circulated in heaven and put right into my head, which is not adequately substantiated by the strangers around myself being due elsewheres and heaven needing to do something about itself. Because they're not myself. Why should I have a contaminated mind when I am myself? Deceased is the representation of what is due for each and every one of you. I am deceased to each and every one of you is due to myself. If you did something against itself, that I am deceased alone, that is you needing to be elsewheres, and you're threatening yourself that you need an unclean death for yourself, and you need to go to jail and prison to get an unclean death. I'm not going to offer you anything because I am myself deceased already. I don't have what it takes to that I would die and that I would give you a death. I am deceased ever. If you see me ever and alive here in this world, number 17, I am deceased. It is disclosed right now that I am deceased because you didn't figure that out without me telling you. You don't have enough leverage to know that I'm deceased. I ran out of leverage to be deceased without saying it with myself to anybody who is charging me money. So what is popped a cherry? Cheryl Odesky, using the surname Moser, and she's also using Mitchell, but she doesn't say that. And she's also using Selby and using Moser again, and maybe elsewhere's she's using Samuels, and then she's also elsewhere's in the money with so many karmas. I can't help you. Rawson, yeah, she's using the last name Rawson as well in the heavens, but not here in the world. She keeps using this signature that whatever it is she's using. Yeah, she once said to me, popped a cherry, and I'm being molested right now because she's still checking my address. Don't know why. It's not sure I would help who she is. I'm not going to help her. Is she checking my address and threatening me that I'm not going to help her and she's going to punish me with a gunshot to the head? We're past that already. Yeah, we're past that. And she did enforce it, but I had to do the threatening myself. She doesn't have it paid for that I deceased myself because I am myself here. And you strangers are all crowding around me because I don't have leverage to move you. You come around me and you threaten me and you take my money away from myself that I need to pay the charges elsewhere. You charge me for the money that is appointed to pay the charges, and then I don't have the money to pay the charges. Well, you're overcharging, and that's not really karma to me because when I don't have any money, then what? Then you're actually charging me with that I'm not yourself, and that's what the money's appointed for. You don't afford the money's appointed. That's due deceased. That's you needing to leave that problem. Nobody in the public is leaving that the charges are not being made if I don't have the appointed money. If I don't have the appointed money, the people are still out there making charges. That's how you don't make sense to yourselves. You're going to die from that as well, that you did that in the order. I've been robbed. I just reported today to the one who was driving the Kia Soul that was green. Maybe she's the driver. I have to say I saw her outside of the car, opening and using the car door. I have to say that, does she have a driver's license? I don't know. I didn't ask. Something just died in my mind, so I can't say it out loud. But that's not true about popped a cherry. But this is blackout berry. It says berry, but it tastes like cherry to me. I think it's cherry. And I wanted to mention popped a cherry is what Cheryl said to me. And that's a sexual abuse compliment to herself, that she's been sexually abused and she knows who who creates the sex in herself. And I don't really know that about herself because I'm not the subject of that with this body. But it's true that I got sexually abused elsewhere after she said that to me, and I don't know her that way. It's true that it's not due to say such a thing to myself, and I am reporting that my address was checked today for her so that she can go on with her life, but she's one way threatening myself, and that's not true that God creates crime with somebody who's not threatening you. He makes the crime back and forth, and it goes to prison in the heat of the moments, and that you go into the prison for a death on yourself, and you're going to die in that money and in prejudice with yourself, so you can succeed in dying out of your human form. And it's true that Cheryl is one way against myself and checking my address and threatening me with police because I'm not going to feed her. And it's true that she stole money of MOSCR, and I can't stop her. And she's so angry. She executed me just because she didn't afford to be herself in my leverage. When I asked her to leave, that was 19 years ago. She's not going to leave. I don't know why, because it's not true that I know her. I don't even know if she left or not. Where is she? I don't know where she is every day. What difference does it make? She's not myself. Don't you say that about me.